Welcome back to Access. I'm Ken.
And I'm Nicole.
And Nicole and I have, I think, somewhat of a different view this afternoon as we're talking about the Book of Daniel. One of the last of the great prophets. We should have said that too. We've got, four great prophets with Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel.
The major prophets.
The majors, and then the minor prophets. They're the folks who couldn't hit or bat consistently. So they're in the minors.
It's really about length of book. Is what it's about.
It's true. And then there's 12 of those, and 6 fit on one scroll, and 6 fit on the other. So it all works out.
Yeah.
But we're to Daniel today, and Daniel is one of the most kind of difficult books in the sense that it says that it's written during the Babylonian exile, and it just isn't.
It's not.
It's written during the 2nd century. It's a long way away, 400 years or so away. And what they are doing in the 2nd century, they're under terrible threat. The Jews are, and so they're kind of writing a story to try to keep the spirits up.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of telling these stories about, hey, let's have this character named Daniel, and Daniel is a very popular Middle Eastern character that shows up in other even cultures even.
Yeah.
So it's this 2nd century work purporting to be in the Babylonian exile.
Right.
So it's a little confusing in that sense. But let me tell you kind of why or how we get to the 2nd century in this context, because Daniel sort of rockets us really close to the New Testament. It's going to be the closest book in the canon, really, to it before we get there. Short thumbnail: Alexander the Great, who I love, and Nicole says
hates.
Nicole hates. We'll get into this in a minute. What's not in dispute is that Alexander the Great is coming from Macedonia. His father's Philip and Alexander. No slouch of a teacher. Has Aristotle for teacher.
Nice.
That's a good yay. And so Alexander gets, a bee in his bonnet. He's a young man, and I think between the ages of 30 and 33, he takes a big old army and goes and conquers all the way out into India, and he is an apostle of the wonderful Greek culture and Greek language. Alexander allows his soldiers to intermarry with the people who lived there to create a wonderful melting pot culture where people from different races could hold hands and their love could be unfurled. Nicole thinks I'm a little romantic about this image.
A little.
So what's your view of Alexander?
I think he slaughtered and raped his way across the known world. How's that?
Anything more? Or is that it?
Well,
not to put too fine a point on
Ken
yes.
likes to say that they were allowed to hold hands and intermarry.
Their love could flourish.
Intermarriage was encouraged as a way to squash indigenous cultures.
Local culture. That's probably true. Yeah.
Probably true.
There's some truth. But only because the Greek language and the Greek culture created what we call Magna Graeca in the ancient world, where everybody was able to communicate and sit down and sing Kumbaya in the same Greek language. It's why the New Testament is all written in Greek. It's why the Hebrew Bible had to be rewritten in Greek, because everyone who's Jewish outside of Palestine spoke Greek, not Hebrew, and it eased communication. It's a wonderful thing.
No, it's not.
What's so bad about it?
What's so bad about it is that this
rushing to close that gate, and I didn't make it. And then the monsters weren't awful, but they were great. Like they are in the book. They kind of danced around. I don't know why I was so afraid of them. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the actual story is not about monsters at all. But they are Jews that are living in Babylon, and they're helpers in the court. And there's this idol, and there's this law that says if you don't bow down to the idol, you'll just be killed. So it's basically, be like us or else. And everyone else, no matter their religion, says, well, bend my knee to the idol, no big deal. And these guys can't do that. they're unwilling to do that. So there's that line where they've decided, I'm not willing to cross that. And you may find that particular example silly, but you have a line too.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out what that is that you won't cross. Well, they get thrown into a fiery furnace, as you all know, and then they're looking all in there. And it's not just the three of them walking around, okay, but then there's a fourth. And there's that sense of kind of God's presence in there, in the furnace with them. And it's that sense that no matter how hot things have become for you, what can somebody do to you ultimately? Go ahead, do your worst, and then God will abide. That is the sense very much in this. And you can see how in that Seleucid Antioche's world, where they were being threatened all the time, that would be a story that would encourage them.
Yes, very much so. The next story is with the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
The King Nebuchadnezzar's son, how do you say it?
Belshazzar?
Belshazzar. He's at a big party, the wine's flowing, and
Popular, it seems.
it's Babylon. It's Vegas. It's fine. It's fun. And a mysterious human hand comes and writes on the wall, but it's a language. It's totally creepy. Like, I wish we had a green screen where I could just chop off this and yeah, that'd be creepy. Can we edit that? No, we can't do that.
You could get down off the camera screen and then put your hand. There we go.
Okay. Okay, so it's writing on the wall, and it's writing words that no one at the party understands. And so they summon Daniel, who had interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dreams and had kind of caused Nebuchadnezzar to say that the Lord is real. Acknowledge, that's the word I'm looking for. Acknowledge the Lord. And so they bring Daniel in. And are you finding the exact words?
Oh, is it the mini tekel? Let's see.
It's like mini tekel pesa or something like that.
Yeah, oh, there it is. Mini tekel and parson.
Parson. I was good. I was
always
close.
Get that one.
And so Daniel interpreted the writing, and it basically said that that the kingdom was not going to be Belshazzar's for very much longer, and that was not a popular thing. But the king died that night, and Darius came in and became the new leader.
And that phrase, has come down.
The writings on the wall.
Exactly.
Which I think is kind of an ironic phrase, because now it means that something's obvious.
Yeah.
And nothing could be more not obvious.
Yeah. I guess the way it could make sense is when you say the handwriting's on the wall. It's like it's something. The downfall's going to come. Maybe. So there's that.
Oh
sense.
yeah.
But you're right. It's not obvious at all.
Or it's done.
Yeah.
That could be another meaning for it.
And that leads into that last story
Yes.
that everybody needs to know, which is
Daniel and the
Lion's
Lion's
Den.
Den.